You're walking through Dublin. It's 1875. Life is simple. People are poor, hungry, extremely Irish. Suddenly, you hear a roar. You smell alcohol. You turn a corner and see a giant flaming river of whiskey rushing down the street like some kind of alcoholic lava monster. A whiskey tsunami, a bourbon tidal wave, a fiery, boozy apocalypse. What set the scene? Dublin in 1875 was flammable, mostly wooden, filled with crowded tenements, and held together by hope and whiskey fumes. Alcohol wasn't just a hobby, it was therapy, it was culture, it was breakfast. So naturally, the city stored whiskey the same way modern people store regrets, in huge quantities, specifically 5,000 barrels of it. These barrels were stored in Malone's Malt House and Warehouse, a nice little wooden building just begging to burst into flames. On June 18th, a small fire started in the malt house. No big deal, happens. Except this fire reached the whiskey barrels, and whiskey, for those of you who failed chemistry class or don't drink, is extremely flammable. One barrel burst, then another, then thousands. Within seconds, the warehouse exploded. Flaming whiskey poured out of the building, down the gutters, through the streets, and toward the tenement houses. A river of golden liquor on fire, moving at the speed of pure chaos. Witnesses described it as a torrent of flame consuming everything in its path. The whiskey flood was 2 feet deep in some places, just enough to drown in, just enough to burn you alive, and just enough to tempt the Irish population into doing something unbelievably stupid. People were screaming, buildings were collapsing, horses were on fire. It was pandemonium. And then peak idiocy. Or should I say, alcoholism. This is the part where a normal population would run away. But no, fucking it's free whiskey flowing through the streets. They began scooping it up with pots, filling up boots and drinking from them, using buckets, even dropping to their knees and lapping it off the ground. Imagine seeing a burning river of alcohol and deciding, time to get wasted. Some people tried to drink it while it was still on fire. To quote one historian, no tragedy can prevent an Irishman from taking advantage of free liquor. The results? Horrific levels of alcohol poisoning. Not from smoke, not from burns, from chugging flaming gutter whiskey. At least 13 people died, all from drinking contaminated booze. Not a single death from fire, nope, just peak alcoholism. The firefighters arrived and immediately realized that water made everything worse. So they did the one thing nobody expected. They shoveled manure. Literally, they dumped piles of horse manure over the whiskey to smother the flames. Picture it, a heroic line of firefighters throwing shite onto a river of burning whiskey while half the city tries to drink it. Humanity should not be allowed to exist. We are simply not responsible enough. The next morning, Dublin looked like scorched buildings, destroyed breweries, the smell of burnt alcohol, and a number of locals waking up confused, hungover, and partially on fire. Officials surveyed the damage and discovered 0 people died from burns, 0 people died from smoke, 0 people died from structural collapse. Every single casualty was from drinking the whiskey off the street. Dublin lost more people to poor life choices than to a literal fire disaster. This wasn't a tragedy, this was a Darwin Awards ceremony disguised as a natural disaster. Yeah!